Forget everything you think you know about true love. The idea that if it's real, nothing can destroy it, is a comforting lie. The truth is far more earth-shattering, and it lives within that spiritual ache you can't explain, that one person you can't erase from your soul. You know who I'm talking about. They are a ghost in your heart, a connection so profound that their absence feels like a physical wound. But what if I told you that this agonizing connection wasn't a failed romance? What if that person who marked you so deeply, who you can never truly leave behind, wasn't meant to stay? What if their only purpose was to ignite a fire within your soul, to awaken a part of you that was dying? This isn't destiny or magic. It is a profound psychic phenomenon, a powerful secret hidden within the philosophy of Carl Jung. He understood that when two souls recognize each other, an unbreakable cord of psychic energy is formed. He called it synchronicity, not a mere coincidence, but a symbolic event proving that your inner world was already aligned for this explosive encounter. This is a rare, almost sacred experience, and the key to finally understanding your pain and transforming it into your greatest power. If this feeling resonates with that deep, unspoken part of you, then you have found the answers you've been searching for. But before we unlock this truth, I need you to do something crucial. A massive 80% of the people who find healing and answers in these videos are not subscribed to the channel. If you want to continue on this journey of awakening, take 1 second to hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. Don't let the algorithm hide the next revelation you need to hear. And show your support by giving this video a like, so this knowledge can reach others who feel lost and alone in this experience. And one more thing. In the comments below, tell me what city or country you are watching from. Let's see how far across the globe these powerful teachings of Carl Jung are traveling to help us understand these soul-deep connections. Now, prepare yourself, because by the end of this video, you will no longer see that person as a source of pain, but as the catalyst for your true awakening. The question that will change everything is not why they left, but what they came to awaken within you. Let's begin. The soul does not seek beautiful encounters, it seeks necessary encounters. And when the energy of two souls aligns, it doesn't always mean they should stay together in this life, but that something profound must be revealed between them. Think about it for a moment. How many people passed through your life and stayed? And now think, how many left, but never really left you? There are bonds that, although short, leave deeper roots than relationships of years. And Jung explained it this way: the meeting of two people is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. That is, what happens when two souls align? There is not only love, there is transformation. But be careful, do not idealize. Not every intense connection is true love. Some are mirrors, some are reflections of your shadow. Others are temporary guides who come to help you break your mask. And there is the most interesting part, because from Jung's philosophy, that type of connection can only happen when you are in a deep stage of your individuation process. What does that mean? That before you can find that person, you first have to find yourself. Jung said that the soul is not attracted to what it wants. It is attracted to what it needs to complete itself. And that is why many times the soul joins another that challenges it, that confronts it, that shows it its oldest wound, its most denied desire, its deepest fear. And that's where the work begins. Because when the soul recognizes another, it doesn't do it by chance. It does it so that both awaken. And you know what is most powerful? That this recognition transcends time, body, distance. They will not always be able to be together. It will not always be the perfect time. But when there is an energetic alignment, something in you opens, and once it opens, you can no longer go back. So I ask you, what if that person who marked your life did not come to complete you, but to reveal to you that you were already whole? What if they came to show you the part of you that you had not yet embraced? Because Jung said it clearly, there is no awakening of consciousness without pain. And many times the pain of a deep and impossible love is the fire that transforms the soul. This video is not to convince you to get back with anyone. It is to help you understand that you are not crazy, that you are not alone, that what you felt, that inexplicable connection, is real. But not because the other is destiny. It is real because you are also awakening, and that is why you felt it. Because you are at that point on the path where your soul begins to recognize what is aligned with it. And the most beautiful thing is this: when you vibrate from your truth, what is real does not go away, and what goes away was not real. That is why, in Jungian philosophy, the true union of souls does not need guarantees, it only needs authenticity. When two souls are in their center, they can walk in parallel, even without touching, because the true connection is not possession, it is expansion. And if you have ever loved from there, even if the story did not continue, even if the person has gone, what you experienced was real. And what is real is not lost, it only transforms. Sometimes we believe that the most important person in our life will be the one who stays forever, the one who feels like home, like certainty, like a refuge. But Jung taught us something radical. The most important souls do not always come to stay. Sometimes they just come to turn on a light that was off inside you, and then they leave. The most difficult thing is to understand that the purpose of a deep connection is not always permanence. Sometimes the purpose is awakening. And that awakening hurts, because when the soul is activated, it removes everything that was asleep: wounds, memories, desires, parts of you that you had hidden out of fear or habit. And when someone comes and touches those fibers, you can't forget it, because they not only touched your story, they touched your unconscious. That's what happened to Elisa. Elisa was 52 years old when she met that man at an event that in theory had no importance. She had been married for over 20 years. She had grown children, a respectable career, a stable routine. She was not looking for anything. And yet, that afternoon, a short conversation, an intense look, a laugh she did not expect was enough for something inside her to break, or rather, to open. It was not love at first sight. It was not desire. It was something else, recognition. I knew him, she told me later, although I don't know from where, and she was not referring to a past life. She was referring to something much deeper. That man reflected a part of her that had been buried. Her creative side, her carefree laughter, her forgotten freedom. They were not lovers, not even close friends. They only met a few times, but it was enough because after that meeting, Elisa could no longer see herself in the same way. And that is what Jung called the projection of the anima and the animus. In Jungian psychology, the anima represents the unconscious feminine image within the man and the animus, the unconscious masculine image within the woman. When we meet someone who reflects that inner image, the connection becomes magnetic, transformative, even obsessive. Not because the other is perfect, but because we project onto them the part of ourselves that we have not yet integrated. That is what happened to Elisa. She did not fall in love with that man. She re-encountered her own animus projected onto him. And that projection woke her up, took her out of her emotional lethargy, led her to look at her life with new eyes, not to leave everything, but to return to herself. We don't always understand these connections until years later. But one thing is certain. When another's soul truly touches yours, you can no longer pretend you are asleep. That is why Jung insisted so much on working with the shadow, because the person who awakens you not only shows you what you lack, but also what you have avoided. And there is the true alchemy of the soul, not in seeking to complete yourself with someone else, but in using that connection as a mirror to find yourself. Do not idealize who touched your soul, honor what it revealed to you. And if you feel that someone left, that they did not return, that the story did not end, maybe it is because they had already fulfilled their function, not from logic, but from the deepest plane of being. Many ask, why did life show them to me if it was not going to keep them? And the answer is this: because there was a part of you that could only be activated by their energy, not by words, not by constant presence, only by the vibration that was generated between you both. And when that happens, it doesn't matter if you separate. The transformation is already done. The soul does not need coexistence to be touched. It only needs truth. And here comes something key that Jung said about these experiences. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And that also applies to love. When someone touches our soul, they often also touch our darkness. They confront us with our fear of abandonment, with our existential emptiness, with that feeling of having lived by halves. But that is not a curse, it is an opportunity. Because no one can help you illuminate what you do not see if there is not a clear enough mirror in front of you. And some people are just that, mirrors, not to love you for a lifetime, but so that you finally learn to love yourself. So maybe that connection that you have not been able to let go of is not a wound, but a sign that your soul is now ready to integrate, to heal, to complete itself. And the question is not if they will return. The real question is, what did it show you about yourself that you have not yet embraced? If you can answer that, you have already won, because as long as you keep looking for that answer outside, you will remain tied to the lack. But when you start to look inside, everything changes. The anxiety disappears, the emptiness is filled with meaning, and you understand that that person who touched your soul actually returned you to yourself. That is Jungian love. Love that transforms. Love that does not need to possess, only to reveal. Now we are going to talk about the true meaning of the fusion of energies between two conscious souls. And why does the true union only occur when both have traveled their inner path? We are going to enter the heart of Jung's philosophy on mature love, and we will understand why sometimes you cannot unite your life with someone until you have completely united with yourself. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to leave in the comments, "Now I understand what my soul needed to see." Your journey to yourself has already begun. Sometimes we believe that true love is the one that simply flows, without conflicts, without breakups, without effort, as if the absence of tension were irrefutable proof that we have found the right person. But Jung taught that what is truly transformative, what really unites two souls, is not the lack of friction, but the shared work of integrating one's own darkness. The fusion of two souls does not happen because they understand each other perfectly, nor because they are similar, nor because they do not argue. The true energetic union only occurs when both have made the journey to their own center, when they have descended into their shadow, and from there have returned with the humility of knowing they are incomplete, but willing. In the Jungian view, the couple is not the goal, but the stage where the inner alchemy is represented, where the unconscious becomes visible through the other, where love is not a passing feeling, but an experience of revelation, of psychic nakedness, of mutual transformation. When a relationship is born from unconsciousness, that is, when two people choose each other, without having done the inner work, what really happens is a dance of projections. One projects their need for protection, the other projects their fear of abandonment. One projects their mother, the other their father. And so both end up trapped in a childish dynamic where the other ceases to be a real being to become a screen for our shortcomings. But when the energy of two mature souls aligns, when they have gone through their dark night, when they have let die what they were not, then they no longer seek to complete each other. They recognize each other as complete, and from that place, love becomes real. Jung spoke of this stage as the moment when the anima and the animus cease to be ghosts projected outside and are integrated as living forces within the psyche. Only then, he said, can a person love from consciousness and not from need. This means that you, in your most complete form, do not love because the other gives you something you lack, but because you see in the other a spark that respects your fire, not one that tries to extinguish or consume it. The energy of two souls aligns when both have learned to support themselves, when they do not demand to be saved, or changed or filled, when love is not a tool for repair, but a space for expansion. And that space is rare, it is sacred, because not many people get there. Most get stuck in the search for ideal love. But Jung distrusted ideals. He said that every ideal is an unconscious compensation for what we do not want to see. Thus, for example, if you idealize a relationship without conflicts, perhaps it is because you do not want to deal with your own anger, your need for control, or your difficulty in letting go. If you idealize the immediate connection, perhaps you fear slow commitment. If you idealize the other, you may not yet recognize yourself as worthy of loving from your humanity. True love is not ideal, it is deep. And the deep, the profound, includes contradiction, discomfort, process. 2. Souls that have aligned do not need perfect symmetry. They need mutual availability to evolve. And that availability is only possible when each one has stopped running from themselves. Jung explained that there is a moment in the psychological journey when a crucial change occurs. We stop looking outside for what can only be found inside. It is then that a radical transformation occurs. And it is at that point, when we no longer look for the savior, the redeemer, the protector in the other, that
we can look at the other as a travel companion, not as a cure for our wounds. In this stage, the energy between two people becomes a shared field of consciousness, a silent resonance that is not based on possession, nor on drama, nor on need, but on deep respect for what the other is and for what each has traveled to get there. It is not a passive connection. It is not a perfect union, but it is real. And the real in Jung's view is always complex, always implies a tension of opposites, always
asks for commitment to the most essential of oneself. Therefore, when the energy of two souls aligns, something happens that transcends logic, because that connection is not born from momentary desire, but from the integration of many unconscious layers. You do not align with another soul just because. You align because you have been through the fire, because your energy is no longer sustained by fear, because your decisions are no longer born from lack, because you are no longer looking for love. You are offering presence. And only someone who has also made that journey can resonate with you on that level. That is why, many times before that person arrives, life asks you to die symbolically, to go through your loneliness, to face your darkness, to learn to give yourself what you expected another to give you. And when you finally achieve it, it is not that the right soul appears magically. It is that your vibration changes, and from that vibration what comes is coherent with you. It is honest, it is complete. And Jung said that every true transformation implies a loss, because you cannot move forward without leaving something behind. And in love, what we must let go of are fantasies, projections, childish attachments. When we do, we open the space for a different bond, a love that does not exclude the shadow, that is not afraid of the truth, that does not need to be perfect to be deep. That is the union that nothing can separate. Not because there are no conflicts, but
because the bond is built from consciousness, not from blind desire. And when two souls meet in that state, they no longer seek to merge. They choose each other. Yes, they love each other. They accompany each other. But each one continues to be themselves because they understand that to love is not to lose oneself. It is to expand. This type of love is uncomfortable for the ego, but food for the soul, because it does not fill your voids. It illuminates them. It does not calm your wounds. It shows
you how to hold them yourself. It does not respond to your expectations. It responds to your truth. The energy of two aligned souls does not generate attachment. It generates expansion. And expansion always hurts a little, because it implies growing. It implies changing. It implies dying and being reborn many times within the same body. That is why Jung said that there is no true love without sacrifice. And that sacrifice is not physical pain or suffering. It is renunciation of illusion. Renunciation that the other will be the one to save you. Renunciation of always being in control. Renunciation of using the other as a crutch so as not to walk your own process. What remains when all that falls is a clean presence, a mature energy, a vibrational field in which both can be who they are, without masks, without games, without the need to hide. And there, yes, there nothing can separate them, because there is nothing left to unite. They are already united, not by history, not by blood, not by a piece of paper, but by the invisible, by what cannot be explained, but can be felt. And when that happens, when you align with someone from the soul, you can look into their eyes without asking for anything, because you know that what is there does not need to be sustained by a promise, but by presence. This is the love that Jung understood in his studies on the self. A love that does not destroy the ego, but puts it in its place. A love that does not anesthetize the wound, but makes it visible to heal it. A love that does not need a happy ending, because it is in itself a form of awakening. And that, in this era where everything is consumed, changed, discarded, is revolutionary. Therefore, if you have ever felt such a connection, do not measure it by its duration, nor by the label, nor by whether it was reciprocated or not. Measure it by what it revealed to you, by what it moved, by what still lives within you. Not all loves are made to last, but some are made to awaken you. And if they woke you up, then that soul is still with you in some way. Because what aligns from the soul never breaks, it only changes form. And you do not have to understand it, you just have to honor it. Because there are things that the soul knows long before the mind understands them. There is something that we all feel in silence. Even if we have never said it out loud, some people are still with us. Even when they are no longer here, it may be that the relationship has ended, that there is distance, that the other person has taken another path. They may even have died, but for some reason that we cannot explain with words, their energy remains. It is not obsession, it is not attachment, it is an invisible presence. It is as if that soul continues to vibrate in your field, as if in the depths of you their name still has weight, not a weight that hurts, but a weight that sustains, as if they were still accompanying you on the path, even if you no longer walk together. And Jung would have understood that feeling perfectly, because for him, the soul did not end where the body ends, and the real bonds, those that are born from the deepest part of the being, they are not subject to the calendar or to physical space. They are woven on another plane, one that we do not see, but that we feel with every fiber of our spirit. That is why, at the end of his life, Jung spoke more and more of the invisible, of the eternal, of that inner dimension, where the symbolic and the real merge, and where what is truly important is never lost, because the soul does not forget what woke it up, and that which marked you is still with you, even if it no longer has a form. Love that is born from the depths does not need constancy to be true. It only needs to have left a mark of those that can no longer be erased. Perhaps you also knew someone like that, someone who was not your official partner or your great movie love, but with whom you shared something that no human language can name. It was not a long story, but it was a real story. And the real, as Jung said, is recognized in the soul before in the mind. It is with the one you felt at home with from the first moment, the one with whom silence was enough, with whom you did not need to explain anything because everything was already said in the look. That person who, without meaning to, touched parts of you that you did not even know existed. And although life separated you, although the circumstances changed, something inside you never stopped resonating with their presence. Jung would not have called that a coincidence. He would have called it synchronicity, and would have said that that bond, although invisible, continues to work in you. Because when two souls align, something happens that goes beyond romantic love. An energetic fusion occurs that transcends time, and although the mind does not understand how or why, the soul knows that something changed forever. Perhaps that is why every now and then you think of that person for no reason, or you dream of them, or you feel that their energy appears just at key moments in your life. It is not obsession, it is an echo, a trace, a resonance, because energy does not die, it only transforms. And when you have been deeply united with someone from the soul, that union does not disappear. It becomes part of you, not as a longing, but as an invisible thread that still vibrates within you. Many live trapped in nostalgia because they do not understand this. They believe that if the person is not present, the love was an illusion. But that is looking from the ego, not from the soul. The soul does not measure in terms of permanence. The soul measures in transformation. And if that connection changed you, touched you, woke you up, made you be reborn, then it was real, and what is real is never lost. Jung said that every significant relationship is, at its core, an invitation to self-knowledge, and that even those who only passed through your life for a moment may have left you a symbol, a clue, a key for the journey to yourself. Perhaps that person came only for that, to give you a sign, to activate a memory, to show you a mirror. And then the soul already understood, and that is why it moved away. Not as abandonment, but as a sacred movement, as part of the greater plan. You will not know for sure, and it does not matter. The important thing is not whether they will return, whether they loved you, whether they thought of you, whether they regretted leaving. The important thing is that you discovered something that you did not know lived in you, and nobody can take that away from you. When two souls meet from the depths, the purpose is not to live a life together. The purpose is to awaken dormant memories, parts of you that are only revealed when there is a connection so honest that your soul feels safe to come out. And that type of love is not forced. It is not fabricated. It is not repeated. It happens once, maybe twice. But when it happens, it leaves a mark, and from there your life changes. Your choices change. Your way of loving changes. You can no longer go back to empty relationships. You can no longer keep pretending. You can no longer lie to yourself, because you already know what it feels like to be touched in the deepest part. And although you cannot have that person, that experience belongs to you, and that is enough. And so, you now hold the profound and liberating truth. The greatest love of your life was never meant to be the one who stayed. It was the one who awakened you, the one who left and, in doing so, threw open the doors to your own soul so that you could finally walk in. Carl Jung knew that transformative encounters are not random. They are appointments your soul makes when it is ready to evolve. And your readiness brought you here, to this very moment of understanding. That person, that energy, has not vanished. It has simply changed form. They are no longer an external memory you cling to, but an internal compass that now guides you. Their energy lives on in the strength of your new choices, in the peace within your silences, and in the profound way you now speak to and love yourself. The separation was not a loss. It was a sacred opportunity to unite the fragmented pieces of yourself. You were never truly looking for them. You were looking for you in their reflection. And by walking through that fire of love and loss, you have finally found yourself. Before you go, I want you to do something powerful as a declaration of your awakening. In the comments below, write just these 4 words for me to see. My soul is awake. This is a signal to yourself and to the universe that you have integrated this profound lesson. If this final truth has resonated deep within you, your journey is far from over. An incredible number of people who find life-changing clarity here are not yet subscribed. If you wish to continue unlocking these powerful secrets of the soul, take a moment. Now to hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. And please, give this video a like. It tells the algorithm that this wisdom is essential and must be shared with others who are searching for the same answers. Your support makes this mission possible. Now go forward with this new certainty. Nothing can ever separate you from what has truly touched your soul. Not time, not distance, not even death. Because the love you have finally found is not the fragile love of attachment, but the unbreakable love of presence. And that energy, that truth, never dies.